The question I've been asking myself, and many other Kenyans asking themselves, is 60 years after independence, we have borrowed 12 trillion shillings. The debt that we owe, IMF, World Bank, and other lenders, 12 trillion shillings. Then one asks a question. Were we really ready to be given independence? And I was asking, maybe we give this country back to Britain, tell them to run it for us for 5-10 years, and return it to Kenyans debt-free. 12 trillion shillings. I mean, when the last governor of this country handed over to Jomo Kenyatta, I don't know the figures, but I doubt whether this country, under the British colonial rule, owed any debt to IMF or World Bank or whoever lenders. I don't know. Let me not say whether there was anything. But since Jomo Kenyatta took over, Daniel Moi, Mwai Kibaki, Uhuru Kenyatta, and now William Ruto, we owe 12 trillion shillings. And it is actually going up because we were told that the capping was 10 trillion. That was what was allowed by law. But now it has now gone through the roof to 12 trillion. By the time maybe President William Ruto will be going for another 3 years or 10 years, it will be 20 trillion. Meaning then we don't have a country that we call ourselves, we have mortgaged our country. Even you yourself, your children and children's children have been mortgaged. So when we see the president talking about these figures of trillion, billion, borrowing, why do we borrow? The answer is very simple. And that what we can stop doing, like in countries like Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Japan, South Korea, that in those countries, Sam and my fellow panelists here, there is nothing called corruption. Not a single cent can a government officer steal from government. I have been to Malaysia, I've been to Singapore, where somebody is arrested in the morning or yesterday for stealing government resources or even bribery, receiving a bribe, taken to the court at 9 a.m. in the morning, and by 2 o'clock he's hanged. That is the kind of discipline, and this is not only in Kenya, but the entire African context is about stealing, and about going to government is just to go and steal and involve oneself in corruption. I mean, the few people who are in government, and J.M. Karik talked about this 50 years ago, that 50 years to come, there will be about 50 million beggars and very few millionaires. The few people that have money in this country is more than 12 trillion shillings, meaning that you and I, we have been mortgaged, and there is nothing we can do, and that's why the Gen Zs now come in. The next thing our Gen Z should do is to say that any money that will be borrowed from now, there must be public participation. The people of Kenya must allow government to borrow, but not somebody just wake up in the morning and say, we are going to borrow 200 billion. We are going to borrow 346 billion shillings for the deficit in the budget. So, Mr. Sam, we have got a problem in this country, but we know the problem is corruption, is theft of public resources. If it's exemplary. The people who are in government today, some of them are guys who have cases in courts. That's why I'm saying, well, you asked me earlier on whether I don't have confidence in our judiciary. Why did the judiciary allow people to be elected and nominated in government when they have got cases pending before court of corruption, of theft of public resources, and then we still continue as if everything is okay, it's normal, and then we continue now borrowing more as if this country belongs to somebody.
What would be the solution? The finance bill
the solution is simple. The solution is simple. Yeah. And I think from where I see it, and this is even what is in my paper's headline today, is that God has come to answer our problem, our question. He has brought guys who are now going to tell the government if anyone is caught stealing.
Yep.
And we could start even by telling the president, anyone that has got a pending case in court and he is serving his government as a show of seriousness in this matter, he should be told to step aside until that matter is completed. But you cannot tell me that we are working for the government to look for resources for the government when I've got a case pending in court of money I stole from the government. I mean, there's a conflict of interest here.
There is in the public service or in the top level?
Both in the public service, both in the political realm.
Okay.
I mean, it's all there, Sam, and you don't have to ask me who they are. I mean, it's in the public domain. But what I would like to say is, the young people who have now come in the space, and in our democratic space, are God-sent. Because they are going to say no other person should be allowed to be nominated or even elected as a member of parliament or even any position if he has got a pending corruption case in court.